of Transmission Company of Nigeria and its directors and EDs, our journalists, our friends in the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. This morning, it's my pleasure to welcome you to another session of Meet the Press, a forum where very relevant CEOs, people who determine things, who execute policies of government, speak to Nigerians and on what they're doing, on challenges they have, on how they are moving this nation forward. They also take questions from the floor so that they will have they feel the pulse of Nigerians. This morning we have with us one of the pillars in the electricity sector of Nigeria, the Transmission Company of Nigeria. As we know, the power sector, basically you can say have three subsectors, right? Have three legs: the generating set, the transmitting set, and the distribution. Today, we will be hearing from the second leg, that's the transmitting leg, on what has been happening in the power sector of Nigeria. Good enough, we heard yesterday that we have got for the first time to 6,001. We've been able to generate that. And the thing is, most people think that the problem in Nigeria has never really been generation, that it is transmission. That even if we generate 10,000, we might not be able to transmit that. Today, the DG in charge will tell us whether it's a myth. Oh, MD. Okay, I'm used to it. But the MD will tell us whether what we are hearing is a myth or whether it is true, or even if it is true, what the organization has been able to do to make sure that this is not true. And let me just give you a short intro about the MD. The MD is a square peg in a square hole. When they talk about somebody who fits the bill, he started with NEPA. When we used to say up NEPA. He started in 1996 as a manager in the electrical division of NEPA then. And he rose through the ranks to become principal manager and appointed acting MD in 2020. Of course, the appointment was confirmed in 2022. So whatever he tells us today, we can take it to the bank. He knows exactly what is wrong and what is not working, and what is working now in the sector. We don't have too much time to spend. I've already spent some time. It's now my pleasure to invite the DG, Dr. MD, Dr. Engineer Sule Abdulaziz, to speak with us for about 20 minutes, and we'll take just 4 questions, because I said earlier, we have other assignments today. DG, the floor is yours. MD, the floor is yours.
This is on, thank you very much, sir. The Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, other senior advisors here, all protocol observed. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, I bring to you warm greetings and commend you for invaluable work you do in covering the affairs of our nation. Information is a key for providing the government with much needed focus, as well as enable people understand contribution to the social economic development of our dear nation. I can tell you that I'm delighted to be here today to interact with you and update you on our contributions as the pivot or middleman in the power sector value chain. As the speaker has already said, we are at the middle. When the generators generate, we transmit, and we send the power to the load centers, which are the distribution companies. Before I proceed, I'm pleased to share some remarkable news, and that is for the first time in the nation's history, the power sector recorded a new unprecedented peak generation of 5,801.84 megawatts of electricity on Tuesday, March 4, 2025. The Transmission Company of Nigeria was able to evacuate this power to distribute load centers nationwide. This unprecedented feat is a result of hard work and dedication of our engineers in the generation, transmission, and distribution companies of the power sector chain. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Mr. President and the Honorable Minister of Power that these things happen at their own time. It's world record. That power was never produced in the history of Nigeria. Congratulations, Mr. President. With the numerous TCN transmission projects completed in the last 2 years and new ones currently going on, as well as the 8,500 megawatts current evacuation capacity of the company, I can confidently state that in less than 2 years from now, the Transmission Company of Nigeria will conveniently evacuate 10,000 megawatts generated power. We have capacity of 8,500 as of today. By the end of next year, our capacity will reach 10,000 megawatts. The continued success achieved in expanding the transmission grid and the consequent increase in our capacity to efficiently wheel bulk power could not have been possible but for the sustained encouragement from the federal government through the Ministry of Power. Indeed, the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is on course, and before long, Nigerians will have every reason to celebrate the progress in the power sector. We are immensely proud of the government's commitment to moving the power sector forward. All hands are on deck to ensure we continue delivering our mandate and providing Nigerians with the best possible service. Allow me at this point to summarize our achievements so far, particularly in technical aspects of our operations as a company. Among our major breakthroughs is the installation and commissioning into service of 66 number power transformers. We have equally built new transmission substations and conductor transmission lines, as well as new transmission lines. These are the lines that transmit power from point A to point B. Some of them we reconductor them, meaning that we change the conductor, we increase the capacity, and we also build new ones. In the substations, we remove small transformers like 30 MVA, replace them with 100, 150, 300, so that the bulk power going to that place will increase. Some of the projects were executed under the World Bank sponsored projects, which is geared towards increasing TCN capacity to 9,000 MVA. Currently, projects amounting to 6,000 MVA have been completed and connected to the grid, including Rimin Zakara substation in Kano. The World Bank is also funding the upgrade of some brownfield substation projects. Another donor agency project in TCN is the AFD-funded project that has completed 5 transmission substations in Abuja. 2 have been energized. AFDB is also executing the new Kano-Kaduna 330 kV double-cycle transmission line with 330 kV substation at Zaria and 132 kV substation at Jaji, all in Kaduna State. The FGM Power, supervises the execution of the Siemens project, has supplied a total of 10 mobile substations, out of which 7 have been installed. Another 10 transformers of various ratings were also installed in the transmission network and connected to the grid. The FGM Power Company is the special purpose vehicle for the implementation of the Presidential Power Initiative. Having completed the pilot phase of the Siemens project with the installation of the transformers, the phase 1B of the project has been approved by the Federal Executive Council for the reinforcement of 7 existing transmission substations. The FGM project has further contributed to the increase in TCN capacity as the projects are handed over to TCN on completion. The FGM project is going to add 1,350 MVA to the national grid. Our progress is also evident in the reduction in grid disturbances over the past 5 years. However, to enable us to manage the grid in absence of SCADA, We develop the generation load drop sensitivity, which we call GLDS system, which detects and responds to sudden drop in power generation, preventing cascading failures. Additionally, all our substations have now been fully digitalized and automated. We equally developed an in-house Internet of Things, IoT, solution to improve visibility of power generators. This successfully expanded visibility of power station from 6 to 27 locations. Without SCADA, still we can see 27 locations of our station. This is being used as a top-gap solution until the ongoing SCADA project funded by the World Bank is completed. The SCADA project is about 69% completed. And on completion, it will enhance real-time monitoring and improve grid management and efficiency. To also help in grid stability and reduce transmission losses, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission is enforcing the free governor control. A three-man committee is in place to oversee the activation of the free governor model of the operation across all the stations. We have equally introduced an enhanced maintenance regime, which include inspections, preventive maintenance, and swift repairs. Routine line surveillance and maintenance efforts have been further strengthened, and reactors installed in Jeba, Jos, and Makodi to minimize voltage surge. The 330 kV Shiroro-Mando transmission line has also been fully restored. If you all remember, it was in the news when vandalized this line. It has been restored now, and we are supplying full electricity to the northern part of the country. In order to reduce downtime and improve efficiency, we undertook a comprehensive restocking of TCN central stores. We had the largest stockpile of transformers equipment in TCN history, including 22 power transformers and other accessories, most of which have been moved to various project sites. Presently, we have 6 number 150 MVA and 5 number 100 MVA transformers. We have a lot of oscillators, 132 kV. We have 110 volt DC battery banks. We have haulage trucks. We have circuit breakers. We have current transformers and voltage transformers, among others, in our central store in Lagos. Availability of spare parts has subsequently increased our project completion time, fault repair, and enhanced front maintenance. Recognizing the challenges posed by unexpected developments, such as insurgency and activities of bundles that has disrupted power supply to the north and south-south, as well as in other areas of the country at different times, we are collaborating with the Office of the National Security Advisor and security agencies, including local vigilante, to secure power installations nationwide. We have also increased our sensitization program in this regard, with the most recent one held in Kwali in Abuja here. We are also discussing with some companies on using technology in the vandalism fight, that means using drones. I believe our introduction today has been very useful. As I conclude, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the President and Commander-in-Chief, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as well as the Honorable Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, for creating the enabling environment that has made these achievements possible. I would also like to commend all the stakeholders, GENCOS, DISCOS, and NAC. I commend the tenacity of our engineers, and most importantly, I appreciate the patience and cooperation of Nigerians, and also the unwavering support of the press. This has been a challenging but rewarding journey, and with your continued support, we will strive even harder to achieve all-around success. Thank you all. God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the MD. If we listen very well, at least he has shown that he has a depth, he has the first-hand knowledge about what is going on in this sector. And of course, I also wanted to, say something that he didn't mention anything about the collapse of the grid. It was, I know it was very frequent last year, but we can comfortably say that this year there's not been any grid collapse, have you? At least there's not been any grid collapse this year at all.
No.
Eh?
No.
There has not been.
Yeah. Can I talk?
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, let's look at these things with a clear mind. There are people who don't even know what is system collapse. But once there is a tripping or something, they will say system collapse. There are people who used to send message by their Twitter, but when we come out with the facts, they retrieve it. What I want to say is this. If you look at the history of system collapse, since from 2017 to date, you will see that it has drastically come down. We are doing all what we can possible to make sure that we don't have system collapse. You call it system collapse, we call it system disturbance. There is no way you can completely eradicate system disturbance because this is a dynamic system. It's not static. You must have faults, you must have issues with equipments. So this is what we are trying to do. But this year, we had one partial disturbance. When Abuja and Lagos were up, it happened somewhere in February. Apart from that, we don't have any issue. This is the real situation.
Thank you very much, sir, for the clarification.
Yeah.
So the questions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want 4 questions. You can only take 4. So if I don't take you, it's not as if I don't like you. But the time cannot accommodate you. And probably you came late. That's another thing. Yes. Bloomberg will take the first question. Dr. Anuli, as chairman of the press corps, will take the second one. Channels came very early. He will take the third one. Between Punch and Von, harmonize your positions. Who takes the question? The chairman has generously agreed that the two of you should take it. NTA. NTA and Von, harmonize your questions. So it starts. Let me also formally now introduce the members of the I-Table. By the left of the MD is Mr. Emmanuel Ajiboye. He's the Executive Director in charge of Transmission Service, is the ED Transmission Service Provider. Next to him is Mr. Kabir Tahir, General Manager in charge of projects. Then you know Mr. Ononuga. By the right of Mr. Ononuga, for the benefit of our guests, is the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Strategic Communication. And by our right is Mr. Ortega Ogra, Senior Special Assistant to the President in charge of digital media. As we talk, as we speak now, what we are saying is being streamed live on our platforms. So, go ahead, Bloomberg. You. Use it.
No, I'm not facing camera. Good morning, sir. My name is Ruth Ruby. I write for Bloomberg. I wanted to clarify when you said that the evacuation capacity would increase to 10,000. I wanted to clarify if that is the willing capacity that you're talking about. And if that is the case, could you please explain or give details, rather, on how you're coming across this increase in your capacity? Are you investing more? How much are you investing? Where is that money coming from? Do you understand my question?
Yes.
Thank you.
She was asking about the capacity, our willing capacity.
Good morning, sir, and everybody here. My name is Lanre Lasisi. I report for Channels TV. First of all, I would like to understand you mentioned that we've gotten the highest so far. You also said there's the you mentioned, I think I didn't get that correctly, you forecasting that at a certain point we should be able to do better. How do you hope to address the challenges we have between what we generate and what gets to us for usage? That's one. Secondly, you mentioned that you're trying to do a project that has the capacity to understand when there's a drop in whether to digitalize or something like that. There's a project you're doing, and that it's 69%, if I got you correctly, completed.
SCADA.
SCADA, yes. So I would like to understand, when are you estimating that we'll be able to get that on stream? And what has been the total so far to do that? Thank you very much.
The next. NCA, okay.
So, MD, good morning, and those on the high table. My name is Dr. Anule Emmanuel. I write for AFP. I'm aware that the United States provide significant support to Nigeria in terms of stabilizing power generation and distribution. It does this with initiatives like USAID and Power Africa. MD, I want to find out from you. In July last year, you signed an agreement with Nigeria, including a $75 million grant to support electricity sector reforms. Now, with the actions of Donald Trump, the President of the United States, leading to withdrawal of funding of projects around the globe, how will Nigeria be impacted by this action? Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, MD. My name is Stephen Angulu. I write for the Punch newspapers. My question is twofold, MD. You are at the helm of one of the three nodal points of Nigeria's power sector. I'm sure you are aware of a proposal sometime in October where the Minister of Power came here to brief us. And he talked about investment, how the federal government had secured investment of between $1 billion to $2 billion to install 50 megawatts solar power plants or solar power infrastructure in northern states to take advantage of, the solar exposure, long solar exposure in these states. And that came on the back of the blackouts that some northern states experienced sometime late last year. What do you know about this process at the moment? Where are we? Second, okay.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Temitope Mustafa. I report for Voice of Nigeria. I know you have talked about the challenges and the solutions you are preferring to most of the challenges, most of the issues confronting the power sector of Nigeria. But I'd like to find out, in actual statement, what is the state of Nigeria's power grid as we speak?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, MDCO, for your presentation. It was data-backed, and we can see the progress that has been made. I know December 2023, Mr. President, and Nigeria and Germany signed an agreement to further accelerate the Siemens deal, which includes improving our transmission grid. Can you just brief us on what's gone on so far with regards to that and where we are? I'm sure a lot of the questions will fall under that.
The General Manager Public Affairs, Mrs. Ndidi Mba, is here. Then Mr. Eric Ene is the Assistant General Manager Public Affairs, is there. While Mr. Sule Oyofo is the media consultant. Thank you all for coming.
Okay, one more. 6 balls. Are we through, sir? Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I will try to answer this question one by one, but in case I left something out, please remind me. The first question is talking on our capacity. As Transmission Company of Nigeria, I say as of today, we can transmit 8,500 megawatts if it is generated. And you can see from my speech that I have mentioned in this country, the highest ever in history is 5,801. So we are still ahead of what is generated. We are saying that with the projects we are doing, after 2 years, we will be able to transmit 10,000 if it is produced by the GENCOs. How did we reach that? It is by investment. Transmission Company of Nigeria is 100% owned by the federal government. Up to now, there is nobody who has come and put his money. All these investments are coming from the federal government. We are doing new transmission line, we are building new substations, we are conducting all transmission line to make sure that access capacity can be transmitted. So it's either the federal government or the donor agencies. But even the donor agencies, they are signing agreement with the Ministry of Finance, not even with TCN, through the MO. So it means all investment is coming from the federal government. I don't know whether I have answered your question. Yeah, okay. The second question is highest challenges from generation. Is that? Yes, to customer. As I have just said, it's the same answer. In many forums, I used to challenge people. I say, give me data. Tell me any time that power is generated in Nigeria and TCN is not able to transmit it. Nobody can come out with that data. So as of today, whatever is generated from discos is transmitted to the load centers. It is almost the same issue. When are we going to finish SCADA? From our own work program, in 6 months' time, 6 months, we are going to finish SCADA. I have mentioned that it is 69% completed, and this project is funded by the World Bank. The World Bank was funding NETAP. In that NETAP, we have $486 million. It is out of it we are doing the SCADA. By the time we have that SCADA completed, we will be able to see real time whatever is happening on the grid. You don't need to use phone and call somebody. You don't have to think something, hey, maybe this is how it will do. No, real time. Whatever is happening, you will see it. Anybody in the NESI who is faulty, whether it is a distribution company, a TCN, or DISCO, that SCADA will tell you, and it will get the card, and you can print the information. So this is what we are doing, and by grace of God, within 6 months, we are going to present broad. I will not be able to present broad. I will not be able to talk on that because we, as Transmission Company of Nigeria, we don't have any agreement with USAID. USAID are not there. The only agencies that are working with TCN are the World Bank, AFDB, JICA, and AFD, and African Development Bank. So that one is not, maybe generation companies. It's not, they are not doing anything with TCN. Now, one of the reporters also asked that the Honorable Minister some time ago has mentioned about the solar projects going on in the north. Yes, the northern state of the north, because of the temperature there, sunlight is abundant. That's why government came out with this idea. In life, you use all the resources you have. So, those 19 states, each one of them is going to produce 100 megawatts of power, which we hope is going to be integrated in the grid. But before the job is ongoing, the projects are ongoing, and they're making progress. But before we connect them to the grid, we must also do studies, because it's not the whole renewable energy you have, you put it on the grid. So far, our studies have shown that we can only put 10% of the load we have, meaning that if we are generating 5,000 now, and we have 5,000 on the grid, 10% of that is 500 megawatts. So we can only add 500 megawatts from solar for us to have stability in the grid. But if we try to add something more than that, it may cause disturbance in the grid. So we have to make sure that our base load is also increased. We can do that by adding generation, just the way we added Zingeru. So once we have that, all that power that is coming from the anti-state can also come on the grid. Also, you know that there is an agency, REA. They are also working on these solar projects. They go to some communities that are not connected to the grid, and they give them solar light there, and they're happy. So this is what the government is doing to make sure that every corner of this country has electricity. It is a program which the government is doing. If the grid has not reached you, they will find a way through the solar, through REA, to make sure that you have supply. Now, somebody asked about state of the Nigerian grid. Yes, as you are all aware, we inherited the grid for, let me say that in Nigeria, before even when we have NEPA before, we have the Niger dams and the ECN. These are the people that started electricity business in Nigeria. Later they were merged and they formed as NEPA. From NEPA, we go to PHCN, then later many companies and TCN. So we are all aware that the grid is very old. But you need money to upgrade it, to change it. But that one cannot be done in one day. Government has other things to do. There is the health sector, there is the education sector. So many important things. As light is important, those sectors are also important. So government cannot bring money once at a time and say we are going to change everything in the grid. But gradually, we are changing all old equipments. We have a working plan whereby we have a database for all these equipments, when they are installed, when they are supposed to be removed. So we are following them gradually, and we are making the grid stronger and robust and flexible. There are a lot of investment we are looking at now. For example, now, we have on our table what we call the super grid. Some Chinese company has put their own interest that we want to come and construct more transmission line so that you have flexibility. Meaning that once one of the line is faulty, you can switch your power to the other one. Nobody will even notice that you have problem. Somebody. Yeah. Yes. Are you doing anything to protect the infrastructure? Much. This is one of the greatest problems TCN is having, this vandalism. Because by the time they destroy our towers, it is very expensive for us to repair them. And the worst thing is that you do not envisage this will happen, so you don't have it in the budget. The money you are supposed to use to expand the grid, you will use it to go and repair those towers, because people will be talking. Just after 2 or 3 days, people will forget about the bundle, but they will be talking about TCN. Recently, this happened inside Abuja. at the Millennium Park. Our underground cable that is coming from Katampe to Central area was vandalized. And that is a very sophisticated cable. It's only we who know how much it costs us, apart from the revenue we lost for not supplying light to Abuja. The money, even we used to repair that cable, we have to import them from China. We don't have it here. So it is a very bad situation. We are fighting it. There are two types of vandalism. There is one which some people will go and cut our wire, something worth millions. They will go and sell it peanuts at the Panteka market. The government, because they don't want the government to achieve something. Just like the way I say that we generated 5,801. So somebody who is working against the government will not want to hear this. So they will go and bring tower so that they will say the government is not performing. We have done our best. We have engaged so many people. We have engaged the security forces. But it's not possible, if you look at the terrain of Nigeria, it's not possible to go and put a policeman on every tower. It's not possible. We have been working with the National Security Advisor, with the civil defense, with the police. So we are also now talking to the communities. We are sensitizing them, telling them this is your own property. And we are giving them some peanuts. Even some of them, we buy them phone. If you see anything abnormal here. So this is what we are doing. We are also talking to some companies that will bring technology, like all these drones and some other things. So we are also doing that. Then, in the National Security Office, they have also understood that main core job is to provide light and not security. It's beyond us. So they are trying to see how they can help us as well. Because they have seen that when these things happen, the money we spend is too much, and we don't have enough manpower to mine all these installations. But it is something that we are not relenting. We are working on it, and we have seen some reduction. But last year, it was very bad, and in the south. For almost, I think, 2 months, Bayelsa was cut out. And we had so many issues around this Enugu, Ogwaji. But we are working on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Sule.
Thank you, sir.
For spending the time to come forward to this event.
Grateful that you have hosted us, sir.
Yeah. Gentlemen and ladies, I hope your questions have been answered, and I hope you are all satisfied with what TCN has been doing. It's in charge of transmission, and that's it's a big task that we have asked them to do, and they're trying their best. The good thing is that at least, as he told us, they have recorded some milestones. We hope that you can record more milestones, and I want to thank you for coming for this event. We should have spent more time, but there are other things that we want to go and do this morning. There's an event at the banquet hall, and that's scheduled for another 1 hour's time or so. So once again, I just want to say thank you very much for coming. I want to thank your team as well. I think for the first time I'm meeting Mba. Mba is almost more popular than you are. She's always issuing those press releases, talking about what has happened and things like that. Madam, it's a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for coming. Thanks for everybody for coming as well. Thanks. I wish everybody a nice day.
from the statement she used to release, there was some time she was having a lot of bashing. So she came to me, she said, MD, let me not be